I'm the bad guy. I'm the, I'm the, I'm the bad. I'm the.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Across the Gridiron. Now it is time for the bit that I love the most when we do do this show, is our predictions. So let's start off by reviewing the scores on what we did last week. So, Eddie, just again for clarity for everyone who's watching, you were the guy who single-handedly picks these five games. And, so some unscrupulous people might be thinking, you're picking the teams that you think are going to win. You're picking the games that are easy to draw. Now, let's go through these first of all. So let's look at last week. We had the Cowboys versus the Commanders. Now this is one we both got wrong
Yeah,
because we both said that the Commanders would win. And we
yeah.
were wrong. Fair play. We will put our hands up in Jerry Jones we trust, right?
Yeah.
And the next game we had the Chiefs versus Panthers. We both said Chiefs would win. They did win, but closer than we expected. But so good. Now the Eagles versus the Rams. Edward, you suggested that the Rams would win this one, and I thought, okay, common sense. Eagles are probably going to go win. And you just could not bring yourself to say the Eagles were going to win. And look what happens when you think with your heart rather than your head. You
No,
got that one wrong.
no, I walked into that one,
You
honestly.
did. Um, we both said we both say the Packers over 49ers. I can't even remember now. Yes, we both said the Packers would win over the 49ers, and they did. And we both said the Dolphins would win over the Patriots, and they did. So that makes last week's score four for myself and three for you. Now, how does that look as in terms of the season so far? When I say the season so far, I'm talking about the 3 weeks we've actually done this. So Eddie, the guy who runs this podcast that we all love, he picks all the games, sitting on a record of 8-7, middling. And whereas yours truly at the moment with a nice resounding 12-3 record. So I'm pretty happy with that one.
Listen, right. Enjoy 12 and 3 because I feel like this week is the week. No, right. This week is definitely the week where I come back and take that crown. So watch
So
out.
yeah, well, you would have to get every single one right, and I would have to get every single one wrong for us to be tying going into this. So let's see what happens. So let's look at the games that we're going to be doing for this week. Now, let us start with the first game that you've selected, which is the Bears versus the Lions. So, Eddie, I'll begin with you. Where are you taking us for this one?
Um, I like the Bears in this one. No, I'm kidding.
It
It's
wouldn't surprise me.
It's the Lions. The Lions are just too devastating right now. They hit you in all angles. I think it's the Lions. Too much for Chicago.
Yeah, you got to get no complaints from me on that one. Yeah, the Lions are just something else at the moment. The Bears, you know, they've had a so-so season. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to be strong enough for the Lions at this time.
The divisional game, though, do you think that counts for anything?
It always counts for something, but I think that no, I mean, look, this is the NFL.
Counts for win.
It can throw up some unusual scores. As you said, as we said earlier today, we talk about the Cowboys actually winning a game for the first time in God knows how long. You're looking at how close the Panthers took the Chiefs. But I think in these sort of things, you kind of have to go. This is the Lions at home as well. They just look a bit unstoppable. So yeah, I'm going with the Lions as well. Game two that we've picked, the Cowboys versus the Giants. So I'll take the first pick in this one. I think, given everything we've just said, I think that the Giants are just a team in disarray at the moment. They're a team in who can lurch from one crisis to the next. Um, and I can't see them turning anything. I mean, look, it's a game for them. The Cowboys are a good. opponent if you want to try and get a win. I would say again another divisional game, but yeah, I'm going for the Cowboys. I'm going to give you your flowers for this one. I'm going to go for the Cowboys.
Would you have gone for the Cowboys if the Cowboys lost against Commanders last week?
No, because the Giants were so poor.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about, the fact that Barkley left them and what I said. Barkley had more yards than the entire Giants team in a single game, right? The Giants didn't even put up a fight, right? And they are going for I think they are going to join the Patriots in the sort of the tanking the season, I almost think. Um, yeah, look, if the Dolphins had managed to lose, I would have maybe suggested this could be the lowest scoring game in NFL history. I was going to see what the odds were on a 0-0. But no, I think this should be the Cowboys. If
Yeah.
it's not, I cannot wait till next week's episode. I was going to ask you. I was going to say. I was going to come into the call and say, "So Eddie, Cowboys, tell me." And then 3 hours later, when the podcast ends,
I would go on a full-on rant. But listen, right? I'm gonna go with the Cowboys to win. Even though if the Cowboys lost against Commanders, I would have picked against the Cowboys because I don't want them to win another game. Let's just go for that, high draft pick. But I feel like they've tasted that victory. Like you say, victory can be contagious. You taste it and you want it again, so. Yeah, it reminds me of things that I've tasted and I want again. But yeah, we're not gonna get into we're not gonna get
it's
into
a family episode. It's a family show, Eddie.
I'm gonna go for the Cowboys to win this.
Good God. Right.
Uh,
Well, learning more about Eddie's youth. Right. So the next game that we've got is the Dolphins and the Packers. Now, I've already sport this and said I'm going for the Packers because I'm thinking with my head rather than my heart. I, I this is the Dolphins' toughest game. They've got toughest game left this season. After that, it's a fairly clear run to the end of the season. I would rather them lose this one and just try and pick up momentum again. They don't do well in the cold weather, and this is away to Green Bay. Green Bay are on a good run themselves. It's a winnable game, but I think the Packers will take this one.
I don't know this thing about the cold weather, right? And is this just cold weather when you go to Kansas City Chief? Because I think that, a lot of people look at that and like, yeah, 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 but um, I mean, I'm gonna go for the Dolphins. I'm going for the Dolphins to win this one. I think it will be close, but I just feel like the Dolphins just have a lot more weapons than the Packers. So I'm gonna go for the Dolphins on this one.
Okay. Well, I will be very happy to be proven wrong on this one. Now, I think the next one's probably the toughest game we've got to call.
Yeah.
We've got the Eagles away to the Ravens. Now, I'll come to you for the first one. This one, because it's very tough and you decide to select this game, you can go first in selecting your pick.
Uh, Listen, it's the Eagles, right? I'm not gonna not back the Eagles after I disastrously didn't back them last weekend. But the Saquon train is up, it's running very quickly, and I don't think you can stop it. So I think it's Saquon Barkley all the way. Eagles, take this one to the house. Saquon Barkley probably goes for another 200 yards.
Yeah. So this is a tough one to call, and I am inclined to agree with you, but let's make this more interesting. I
Yeah.
will go for the Ravens.
Okay.
I think this is in Baltimore. I think that they are a good team that's having I must say a bit of a wobble. They won the Harbor Bowl, obviously on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Um, Played well. Henry was still picking up some good yards. Again, granted, not yeah. this is going to be a tough one to call. I think the Ravens have to show up to one of these big games. If they're talking about being Super Bowl contenders, if Lamar wants to get back onto the MVP, to be back in this MVP discussion, they're going to have to show up in one of these big games. This is a massive game for them. If they lose, then they're not far away from being, in this bubble conversation that we were talking about the other people in the AFC to even make the playoffs. So I'm going to go for the Ravens just to keep things interesting because I imagine that this next pick is one we can just wrap up in a few seconds. We've got the 49ers at the Bills. I'm assuming we're both going for the Bills.
Yeah, going for the Bills.
Yeah, let's go for the Bills.
The one thing I want to say though about the Ravens team, do you know that Lamar Jackson is 23-1 against the NFC?
Oh, is it that bad? Is it 23-1?
23-1 against the NFC. Um, and it made me pause when I was thinking about this game to pick the Ravens, but I don't I feel like the Ravens cannot get out of their own way, if it makes sense, because they've got Derrick Henry, but they're so determined to get Lamar Jackson the MVP that they take the ball out of Derrick Henry's hands and they put it all on Lamar Jackson to do everything, run, throw, and all of that. But you've got Derrick Henry. And this would be the perfect game to look at the two running backs. A team that completely and unashamedly trusting that Saquon Barkley to take them to the Super Bowl. They're not hiding it. It's Saquon Barkley or bust. And then another team that is still trying to no, it's not about Derrick Henry. It's about Lamar. Lamar has been here. Derrick Henry just got here. We need to trust the guy that we already got in our house. So that's why I've leaned towards the Eagles. But you could be right though. 23-1 is not something to be sniffed at.
Yeah, I just think they have to show up. They have to show up to one of these big games. If people want to take them seriously, need to show up. We need to see Jackson and Henry together taking down a big side because they're not going to win Super Bowl. They're not going to win an AFC championship if they don't show up against these big games. So great test for them. It's in Baltimore, so I've got them down to win that one. And yeah, then we're both going for the Bills.
Yeah. And that's it, guys.
Easy.
Yeah, we're both going for the Bills. Listen, guys, put in the comments, your predictions for week 13 in the NFL. Remember, it starts very early. If you're in the UK, it's silly o'clock. Actually, no, the game starts quite decent tomorrow. I think the Cowboys game should start about 9 o'clock or so.
Absolutely. It's an early one as it's Thanksgiving, isn't it? Because you've got you've got it's a full day of football if you're if you're an American.
It is. So yeah, so I'm just looking at the lineups now. We play the New York Giants and it's a 9:30 kickoff. So which is not too bad. So potentially the Dolphins game is tomorrow as well. I think it's late tomorrow. I think that one stretches into the early morning. So I'll probably watch the Cowboys game and then, wake up the next morning to do my victory lap when the Dolphins, absolutely lay it down
Hey,
on.
dude, if the Dolphins will be, I'll be joining on a victory lap. I've already given myself a nice 4 game cushion on the a 5 game cushion on the prediction, so I'm all good. I'm all good.
Maybe this is what I should do. I should put the Dolphins in every prediction, right? Because that's the one game that you might want to go against the Dolphins.
Hey, look, you seem to put the Giants and the Dolphins in every predictions anyway. But no, hey, if they keep winning, I'm a happy man.
Yeah, yeah. That's a wrap for us this week, guys. And thank you for tuning in, as well. Please let us know in the comments below what you thought about the shows. We talked about Daniel Jones, we talked about the Chiefs, and also we talked about the MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. So let's put that in the comment. Let's know if you guys agree with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. And catch you next week across the grid.
I'm the bad guy. I'm the